like a truth untold. Room full of unsaid prayers, shining quiet, painted gold. You smile like nothing's broken, but the walls know every sound. Stillness got a heartbeat and it's pacing up and down. Every pause got a purpose. Every hush got a name. Some silence heals the spirit. Some silence feeds the flame. Silence is golden, yeah I know. But gold can cut you if you hold it too close. What you don't say lingers, grows, echoes louder than words you chose. Silence is golden, that's true. But stay quiet too long, it'll bury you. So listen close to the hush, be aware of the silence. Quiet in a broken house, a calm before the fall. Secrets sitting cross-legged, leaning heavy on the wall. Peace can look like still water, but there's currents underneath. Some quiet keeps you breathing, some quiet steals your teeth. And not every pause is patience, not every hush is grace. Some silence is a warning, staring back at your face. Silence is golden, yeah I know. But gold can weigh down your soul. What you don't say multiplies, turns into ghosts in the night. Silence is golden, that's true. But bite your tongue too long, it bites you. So listen close to the hush, be aware of silence. Read between the quiet lines, hear what's missing, not what's said. When the room gets way too still, that's when something's on the edge. Speak when spirit taps your chest, don't let fear call it peace. Not all quiet is holy. Some is begging you to speak. Even quiet tells the truth. Silence is golden, yeah I know. But gold don't mean it's safe to hold. If your voice is caged inside, that hush becomes a lie. Silence is golden, that's real. But your truth deserves to breathe and heal. So honor the pause, but trust, be aware of the silence. Some things glow in the dark, some things warn you when they shine. Listen to the quiet, but don't abandon your voice. Steps off, baby. This ain't just a vibe, it's a sanctuary. You just walked into the Love Palace. Welcome to a daily dose of D. Wrap yourself in satin, truth. This love ain't rushed, it's velvet smooth. Silk on your spirit, rose in your mouth. Let me show you what healing's really about. Ooh, she don't play with pleasure, nah. Only pours it where it's earned. Let it burn slow. A daily dose of D. Let the love run deep and free. One touch and you'll believe. She's the calm, she's the heat, she's the peace you need. Here in the Love Palace, where even broken ships sail smooth. Anchor down, baby, daily dose of D. Your prescription to feel seen. No refill.
Silence ain't just quiet. Silence is a decision, a pause, a holding of breath when your soul actually wants to scream. Silence is the room after the argument, the unread text, the truth you swallowed, nobody else would choke. Silence can feel like luxury, soft, spacious, calm, but silence can also feel like you shrinking, fooling yourself into corners where you never meant to fit in. In the Love Palace, we honor peace, but we don't confuse peace with self assurance because some of us were taught that being quiet makes us resilient, makes us classy, makes us lovable. Nobody told us that silence, when misused, becomes a slow betrayal of self. So tonight, family, we're pulling silence out of the shadows. We're listening to it. We're challenging it and deciding when it's medicine and when it's poison. So if you ever held your tongue until your chest felt heavy, if you ever been the calm when chaos lived all up inside of you, this conversation is for you. Welcome home and welcome to Daily Dose of Deep. Grand rising, grand afternoon, or grand evening, depending on what time of day you are watching Daily Dose of Deep. How's everybody doing today? I am your host, Goddess Dia Love. Thank you for coming to the Love Palace for Daily Dose of D on this Thursday. Some people call it Friday Eve, some people call it Thirsty Thursday, but here at Daily Dose of D, it's going to be Talk About It Thursday. So, we're going to talk about some things today. We are no longer remaining silent about certain things. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the word of the day. And the word of the day is silence. Excuse me. Complete absence of sound, prohibit or preventing from speaking. And let's not forget our quote of the day. Silence is good, but not every time. So, the reason why I'm bringing this up today is because I'm speaking to myself and maybe others. I have been silent when I should have spoken up. I have allowed silence to affect me mentally, spiritually, and physically. If you go back and look at Daily Dose of D this Monday, I showed how physically keeping things inside can cause you stress. So that's how I came up with this subject today. I wanted to talk about how silence is not always golden. So our title here today at Daily Dose of D is when silence speaks too loud. Let's go ahead and get into it. Did that silence feel awkward or was it peaceful? We've been told since we were kids that silence is golden. We were taught that holding our tongues is a sign of being mature, wisdom, and most importantly, self control. But what if I told you that sometimes silence isn't gold, it's a slow acting poison? Today, We're pulling back the layers of a quiet life. We're going behind the dictionary and looking at the psychological, professional, and danger. Psychological, professional danger of staying silent when you should be speaking up. So let's warm the room up. When I say silence, what do you feel first? Is it pressure or is it peace? Because silence isn't just the absence of a sound, it's the presence of something unexpressed. The word comes from the Latin silentem, meaning stillness or quietness. But notice, stillness doesn't mean emptiness. A lake can look calm and still and have a whole ecosystem underneath it. Historically, it was seen as a virtue, a way to listen to the divine and reflect on the self. And that's true. But there is a massive difference between solitude, choosing to be quiet, and suppression, being forced or feeling unable to speak. Silence can be chosen or forced, people, because chosen silence is intentional. It's rest, reflection, and restraint. Excuse me. Forced silence is survival. It's fear, conditioning, power, imbalance. And most of us have lived in both. Think about the last time you didn't say what you really wanted to say. Was it wisdom or was it fear wearing a calm mask? Go ahead, talk to me, family, because the reason behind your silence means more than the silence itself. We grew up hearing silence is golden. And yes, sometimes it is. Silence can save you from reacting emotionally. Silence can keep you from arguing with people committed to misunderstanding you. Silence can be powerful when it's strategic and self honoring. We love the ideal of the resilient silent type, but in reality, chronic silence it can be a physical and mental hazard. But let's flip the coin. Silence stops being golden when it costs you clarity, safety, or even your sense. When you're quiet just to avoid discomfort, that silence depreciates fast. Who benefits when you don't speak? Because it's usually not you. And if silence was always golden, why does it feel so heavy sometimes? If you've ever stayed silent to keep the peace and end up losing your own, that's something to think about. So, family, hold that energy, hold that thought, let the message marinate all into you. Go grab your water, your tea, your beverage, because we're really about to get into it. But for right now, we're about to take a quick pause and we'll be right back here at Daily Dose of D right after this lesson.
I was taught that keeping quiet kept the peace until I realized whose peace is it keeping?
I'm not sure if this is your direct quote, but I love it. Silence is the beginning of your own death. Accountability is liberation. Amen to that. Zora Neale Hurston has a quote that says, if you are silent about your pain, they will kill you and say you enjoyed it. This is why when I'm working with betrayed partners, I tell them the importance of telling their stories in safe spaces. When horrible things happen to you and you don't talk about it, not only does it protect the person who caused the harm, but it also inflicts more pain on you. When you go to the movies, they put that thing on the screen that says silence is golden. In situations where there is abuse and harm, silence is not golden. And this is not to victim shame anyone who has been afraid to speak out. This is for education and advocacy to say you deserve for your voice to be heard. Speaking up about injustice is the path to healing.
Welcome back, family. Now let's talk mind and heart. Silence doesn't erase emotion, it stores them. So when you don't express pain, your brain keeps replaying it and replaying it, trying to process what never got released. And that's how anxiety gets all cramped up in you. That's how depression whispers lies in a quiet room. You start having conversations in your head that never happened in real life. You rehearse explanations no one asked for. You defend yourself to imaginary versions of people. The mental loop can be so exhausting. Silence can train your mind to believe your feelings are inconvenient or even unsafe. When you shower your words, your body keeps the score. Trust me, I know this from firsthand. So, internalizing emotions leads to increased cortisol. And remember, I talked about this on Monday. If you get a chance to watch Daily Dose of D on Monday, I talked about cortisol. That's the stress hormone. Mentally, it creates a bottleneck effect. If you don't express your boundaries or needs, you begin to experience identity erosion. You start to feel like a background character in your own life. And family, that's dangerous. Because when your inner feelings are muted, your mental health starts paying the price. Let me say that again to you, family. Because when your inner voice feels muted, your mental starts to pay the price. So let's bring logic all into this, right? Okay. Science distorts reality. When you don't speak up, people fill in the blank and they usually get it wrong. Let's just keep it a buck. You're allowing them, if you had to speak up and had an opportunity and needed to speak up, you allow others to fill in the blanks for you. In families, silence keeps trauma circulated like bad air. In friendships, silence turns misunderstandings into grudges. Socially, silence maintains harmful norms. Things don't change because no one's challenging them. So, on a personal level, you start feeling invisible. You show up physically, but disappear emotionally with your silence. Rationally, silence creates a vacuum. It does, you don't speak. People fill the vacuum with their own assumptions. And you know what they say about assuming, right? Socially, socially, silence can be interpreted as an agreement with something you actually don't like. So, for example, somebody could be saying, "Oh, this is what it is. how they feel about something, and you don't like it, but you just be quiet. So a person can assume that you're agreeing with them because you never said that you didn't disagree. Or even worse, it can be considered as indifferent. It kills, it kills intimacy because your loved ones can't truly know if you aren't vocalizing your inner world. If you're not communicating with your loved one and you're just your loved one and you're just being silent and you're trying to have a conversation and you're not saying anything, that can make them be like, what is going on? What is wrong? It even can make them think that something is wrong with them. How many times have you said it's not worth it when you really meant I don't feel safe enough to speak? Think about that for me. So stay with me. The next part is where things get really, really real because we're talking about it today on this Thursday. Be right back right after this message.
The silent treatment, it's so destructive. Like the psychiatrists and psychologists that study it and write about it talk about it as a form of emotional abuse because you are withdrawing your love and punishing somebody with silence because you don't like something that they did.
Body butter, shea and sage, washing off yesterday's weight, spell in the steam, peace in the flame.
Hey everybody, it is time for our product of today at Shamaka Essentials. And for all my jewelry loving people who love jewelry, I'm going to share with you today the crystal teardrop earrings, and you can either get the necklace or bracelet. Now, the one I'm going to show you is actually the earrings right here, right? And the necklace. So you can either get the earrings or the bracelet, and the earrings and the necklace. So this is actually the stone. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Aventurine. And this stone is actually, it symbolizes good luck, prosperity, and abundance. And it's very popular for those that are seeking to attract positive opportunities into their lives. And it also has a lot of different spiritual meaning as well. So this is located on Shamaka Essentials. Remember, everything is 30% off. So once again, this is the teardrop earrings with the necklace, or you can get it with the bracelet. So go over there and shop at Shamaka Essentials and get you some jewelry. Don't forget to use the discount code, the BIG30, for 30% off. The whole website is 30% off. It's Big COC Energy. And don't forget to shop at Shamaka Essentials, okay?
Burning candles while I live my dream. Crystal charge, my spirit's high. Anointed oil, now watch me rise. Not just a scent, it's essential. I stay tapped in with Jamaica essentials.
Welcome back to Daily Dosity. So now let's talk about money, purpose, and growth. How silence can affect that and the dangers of it. How being silent in money, purpose, and growth can affect that. Silence in a professional space can cost you opportunities at a job. That's like not asking questions makes you look disengaged. Not advocating for yourself keeps you underpaid and overlooked, right? So I'm speaking on a professional level. I was a manager of about 20 people, and the people that engaged in with our team meetings and participated and volunteered for more projects did get more money, or that I gave them more responsibility, which became more money. The people that were more silent, I would find out why they were silent. But there was just some people that were just silent because they just didn't care. They're just like, I'm just here to work. I don't want to advance or anything. Your ideals don't get credited if you never if they never leave your mouth. Let me say that again. Your ideals never get credited if they never leave your mouth, they just stay in your brain. Your needs don't get met if nobody knows them. Silence tells the room you're okay with whatever is happening, even when you're not. In the workplace, silence is often a career killer, right? So let's talk about the invisible type. If you don't speak up in meetings, like I just talked about, you aren't seen as you aren't seen as composed. You are seen as invested, right? The resentment cycle, taking on more work without vocalizing the capacity levels to burnout. So if you're taking on all this work, you're taking on all this work, knowing that it's way too much. And then you have the innovation gap. If you have an ideal, but you stay silent out of fear, then the company loses and you lose the chance for a promotion. And over time, this begins to create resentment and burnout at the workplace. You don't take lost talent, you lose momentum. So silence becomes harmful when it's rooted in fear, instead of intention. Let me say that again for you. Silence becomes harmful when it's rooted in fear instead of intention. When you're quiet because you're afraid of being rejected, punished, or abandoned, that's not peace, baby. That's self protection gone way too far. Harmful silence isolates you emotionally. You feel alone even in crowded rooms. You minimize your needs. You shrink yourself so others can stay comfortable. And your body keeps those receipts. Tight shoulders, headaches, stomach issues, constantly being tired. The body speaks when the mouth won't. Okay? So don't go anywhere. We're cracking this open all the way right after this message, okay? Be right back. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Dose of Beat.
It just vexes my spirit to hear people say, what goes on in this house stays in this house. That no, it
Right?
doesn't.
No.
Because every time you open a door and leave out, it leaves too. Right? Everything that you've been through in that house, when you go outside, it goes outside. When you encounter people, it encounters people. When you get into relationships, it gets into relationships. It's all baggage. Suppressing things doesn't change it. The fact that it happened. So things happen when you were 5 years old in your house and they want you to sit on it, not understanding the effect that it has on you now as a 55-year-old adult who was never able to unpack the trauma from their past because they were told not to talk about it.
Welcome back, family. Now, let's talk about brain chemistry. How suppressing emotions increases cortisol, the stress hormone. Long term silence teaches your nervous system that expression equals danger. That's why silence can make thoughts louder, focus drops, emotional regulation weakens. Your brain wants resolution, and then the silence denies it. Neuroscience shows that when we suppress our thoughts, we're actually use up massive amounts of glucose and oxygen, the fuel our brain needs for logic and creativity. Expression isn't weakness, it's neurological hygiene. Let me say that again to you. Expressing yourself is not weak, baby. Not at all. It's a neurological hygiene. Expression is hygiene for your expression is hygiene for you, okay? For your nervous system. Toxic silence. Let's talk about it. Toxic silence is silence used as a control, stonewalling, ignoring, withholding communication. It's emotional starvation. It's scary because it creates uncertainty, and the brain hates uncertainty. You start questioning yourself, your memory, your worth. You wondering, do I really need to be here? This is what silence can do when it's toxic, right? Toxic silence is a state where you are intentionally withholding information or feelings as a defense mechanism or a form of control, like that clip I just showed, the silent treatment. This triggers the amygdala, the fear center in both you and the person you're ignoring. It literally puts the brain into survival mode, making it impossible to solve problems rationally. Toxic silence turns people to accept neglect as being normal, and it's not. And that's a hard habit to unlearn. Have you ever lived in a house with somebody, with a loved one, a mate, a family member, and they will speak to you? They call themselves giving you the silent treatment. How does that make you feel? I know I didn't like it at all. It made me feel some type of way. The silent treatment is toxic to the person who is doing it, and it could be to the toxic to the person that you're doing it to. Because this is a way that you're ignoring somebody or you're withholding communication. Oh, okay, well, I'm just not going to talk to them. How, man, I don't even know in the household that I'm in now how we couldn't even move like that because we talk so much. And it's such a weird feeling and position to be in. So let's go ahead and break that habit if we do have that of giving people the silent treatment, especially in our own home. So let's pause here, people. Then we're going to land the plane and I'm going to let you go so you go talk about this to somebody on this Thursday, okay? I'll be right with you right after this message.
Not all silence are wisdom. Some silence are deadly. Like when your spouse or your partner goes silent, you should be concerned. Like parents that refuse to apologize for the trauma that they caused and left womb unyielded. Silence can be a deadly weapon, but sometimes it can be very hurtful and dangerous to you as well. Because so much things have went unrecognizable. So many people refuse to acknowledge and apologize for the pain that they have caused and the trauma and leave womb unyielded. So they think the best way to avoid that is to remain silent and stay silent. Not all silence is good. Some silence can be very dangerous, especially in a relationship. When your partner goes silent, that simply means they stop caring. They don't give a much about the relationship no more.
Welcome back, family. Thank you for staying tuned in to Daily Dose of D. We have really been diving into why silence is not always golden. So now, I want to talk to you about signs of someone who is suffering in silence. While silence is scary, and why silence can be scary, let me correct that, because it's unpredictable. Because, like in horror movies, it's not the scream that scares you, it's the silence before the scream. Ain't that true? In them scary movies, it's because it's quiet. You're like, oh, shoot, what's about to happen? That's what scares you before the scream. In relationships, silence is scary because it signifies a lack of connection. It's the sound of a bridge being burned. So, some signs that someone is suffering in silence: they are suddenly withdrawn. They stop sharing small details about their day, which eventually leads to no talking at all. Or over complacent. They agree to everything just to end the conversation. Yes, okay, yeah, over complacent. Another sign of suffering silently is physical things. Their jaws might clench, they avoid eye contact, or even force smiles. You be talking, trying to communicate with somebody, and they just looking down. I know with my grandchildren and my children and those that I love, even my teaching my grandchildren, I make them look at me while we're talking. I say, look at me, and they try to go and look at me. No, I have that eye contact with you. When someone is silently suffering, they don't look in your eyes or they don't even barely smile. If someone keeps saying, I'm fine, that could be the most dangerous phrase in the English language when you use it to shut people down or when you shut down. I'm fine. What? Smiling but distant. Always saying, I'm good. Avoiding those deep, difficult conversations and overworking, being the resilient one for everyone else. So, suffering silently doesn't look dramatic, okay? Let's just keep that real. It doesn't look dramatic, it looks functional. And that's why it gets missed by so many people. I have even missed it myself with people that I love. It feels personal. It's not judgment, it's recognition. Those are the signs of somebody suffering silently. They withdraw, they're over complacent, there's physical signs, they don't want to smile, they don't want to have eye contact, or they use the words, I'm fine, I'm good, just to avoid the conversation. Now, on this particular subject today, we talked about how silence cannot always be golden because there's duality in science. There's duality in everything in my book, right? There's duality in everything. Okay, here we go. So the duality in science is I'm not saying you should never be quiet because there's times where you just need to be quiet. It doesn't deserve a response. You don't need to respond to it. It's just like that. There's duality in this, okay? Silence is golden when it brings clarity, rest, and grounding. Let me say that again. Silence is golden when it brings clarity, rest, and grounding. Silence is dangerous when it's fueled by fear, shame, or self betrayal. Let me say that to you one more time. Silence is dangerous when it's fueled by fear, shame, and self betrayal. If you're going to ask your body, filling silence feels open. Harmful silence feels tight. Your nervous system, your body, your mind always knows the difference. Okay? So we're at the final stretch. So I want you to stay locked in. And when you come in, we're going to talk about using your voice as a protection. How can you use your superpower, your voice, as a protection? We're going to talk about it, baby, when we come back to Daily Dose of D, right after this message.
I want you to promise me that you'll never give up on yourself. You can do anything you put your mind to. Promise me you won't let anyone steal your joy, please.
Not all silence are wisdom.
Welcome to the space where worlds become portals and their soul remembers. I am Alicia
was
Young,
born with
and
a fire
this
kiss,
is Soul.
tongue like truth, breathe like mist. I carry lifetimes in these hips and prayers inside my wrist. They said I'm too much, too wild, too free, but baby I was never meant to be. Quiet, tame, contained, I am so untamed. Ooh. Magic in my skin, healing while you hold me.
The cards are just
say my name, feel the shift begin. Alicia Yeti, I'm soul work within. Soul work within. I read stars with my fingertips, found heaven in the curve of my lips. My voice, a spell you can't forget. I bloom in shadows, no regret. I rise in rhythm, flow, and truth. I turn my wounds to hope.
Welcome back, everybody. Make sure you are subscribing to Alicia Dion to get your daily spark and your soul work. I'm gonna tell you one thing: you ain't gotta be silent over there. She gonna talk to your spirit and your soul with that soul work. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to her. And every song that you've been hearing on Daily Dose of D has been by the one and only Alicia Young. So if you want to reach out to her, you can reach out to her and she can provide you with that as well. Okay, she's doing it on the ones and twos. Big OC energy. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about how we can use this superpower that we have. How to use the superpower of silence in the positive way, okay? Because we talked about the dangers, and I don't want you to think that you have to talk 24/7. That's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. Silence, when used intentionally, is one of the most powerful tools in your communication skills. So I'm gonna offer some tools for you for your superpower, okay? You got the 5 second rule for responses. In a world where everybody's waiting for their turn to speak. Be the person who waits to process. When someone finishes speaking, count to 5 in your head before you reply. This does two things. It proves that you're actually listening, not reloading what you're going to verbally say with your verbal gun. And it also gives you the power of the pause, which makes you eventually your responses carry more weight. I had to learn this because I'm a talker. Y'all know, if y'all know me, I could talk, boy, can I talk. But I had to learn and to actually allow others to speak, right? And to pause and listen. When I tell you I am becoming a master of listening, I listen to people's words so intently now because I did the 5 second rule response. Okay. The other thing is the silent brainstorm. There's another superpower that I'm offering you. If you're a leader or a student, try silent brainstorming. Instead of shouting on ideas, give everyone 10 minutes of total silence to write. This is if you're in a position to do that. I know when I was in a leadership position, I had to allow this. This prevents groupthink and allows innovators, those who usually have the best ideas, those innovators, to get their thoughts down without being overtalked. Another way you can use this as a superpower. Silence as a de-escalation shield. In the very heat of an argument, your silence is a circuit breaker. If someone's trying to bait you into a fight, respond with a calm, silent gaze for a few seconds that can instantly lower the temperature. It shows you are in control of your emotions. You have developed emotional regulation, which often forces the other person to reflect on theirs. Okay? The fourth thing, the listening vacuum. In negotiations or deep hearted conversation, heart to heart, use silence to encourage others to open up. Most people find silence very uncomfortable and will rush to fill it with more information. By staying quiet after they finish a sentence, you start a vacuum that often pulls out the real truth that they've been holding back from. Use the listening vacuum, y'all. May I offer? Intentional solitude. This is mental house cleaning, okay? When I say intentional solitude, mental house cleaning. Use silence for yourself. We live in a very noisy world where your attention is the project. Try a silent commute. Take a walk, a drive, listen to some music, calm music, or no music for silence. You know me. How about we try this? You could try this now. No music, no podcast, no phone, just silence. Intentional solitude. When you finally hear your internal voice, you can't know what you need if you're always listening to what everyone else wants. Okay? So the superpowers to silence are, let's go, the 5 second rule for response, the silent brainstorm, the silence of de-escalation shield, the listening vacuum, okay, and the intentional solitude. So may I offer, maybe try it next week or this week, right? Challenge yourself to give you 5 seconds, ask a tough question, don't rush the answer, 5 seconds of golden silence, and see how much better the answers become. Your voice is your protection. Awareness starts when you notice silence that creates anxiety instead of calm, instead of calm. Excuse me. So you're going to start small. You can even journal it. Say it to someone safe. Set boundaries with words and not disappearance. So how do we break the habit? Let me give you 3 more steps to offer you to realize silence isn't working for you. The body scan. Next time you stay quiet, check your stomach. If it's tight, if your heart, you're holding your breath, your body's telling you that your silence is a sacrifice and not a choice, okay? We talked about the 5 minute rule. If something bothers you, give yourself 5 minutes to process it, then commit to saying one honest thing at a time. Voice as armor. Realize that speaking up isn't starting a fight, it's settling a problem or setting a perimeter. Your voice is the fence that keeps your mental health safe. Silence can be a sanctuary, but it shouldn't be a prison. Don't let your golden silence turn into a cage. You don't need to be loud, you just need to be honest. So, everyone, I'm going to leave you with these closing words. Silence. Listen to how it sits in your body right now. Is it calm or is it heavy? Because silence always tells the truth, even when we don't. Silence remembers every time you swallowed your knee, every time you nodded while your spirit shook its head too. Silence remembers who you become just to survive. But hear me clearly, you were not created to be quiet in places that wounds you. You were not designed to disappear so others could stay comfortable. Your voice is not a threat. Your truth is not too much. And your feelings don't need to earn the right to exist. There is silence that heals, the kind that wraps around you like rest, that kind that comes after clarity, the kind that feels spacious, grounded, intentional. And then there's the silence that harms, the kind rooted in fear, shame, and conditioning, the kind that tightens your chest and teaches you to abandon yourself slowly, politely, and quietly. Tonight is your reminder that you get to choose. You get to choose when to be still and when to speak. You get to choose expression over assurance. You get to choose courage over confidence. And every time you open your mouth in truth, you rewire your nervous system. Reclaim your power, baby, and teach the world how to treat you. So speak, even if your voice shakes. Speak, even when it comes out messy. Speak, even if all you can say right now is it doesn't feel right. That's enough. That's powerful. That's protection. This is Daily Dose of D, where silence is respected, but voices are honored, and we'll never have to suffer quietly again. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Daily Dose of D on Talk About It Thursday. You should go talk about this to somebody. I'm just saying, go talk about it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share this out, like it, hit the notification button. I appreciate every one of y'all for coming to the Love Palace. You're greatly appreciated. Remember that silence is golden until it starts affecting you mentally, spiritually, and physically. Keep that in mind. So once again, I appreciate you all for coming from Daily Dose to Do. Shout out to the replay gang. Put a comment under there if you at the replay and you hear this, okay? You feel me? So I will see you guys real soon. Don't talk about it this Thursday, okay? Talk about it. Go ahead and talk about it this Thursday. I'll see you real soon. Peace and love to everyone, and have a good rest of your Thursday. See you real soon.
Shamako in the building. We outside with it. Set the tone real quick. Yeah.
Walk in the spot, whole blind start glancing. And that's it first, whole room start dancing. Flow so clean, baby, this ain't random. Peace so deep, you ain't felt this tandem. Let it melt in, let your soul unwind. Every drop of blessing, baby, take your time. We kicking in the door, watch the whole vibe rise. Stepping with the glow and the healing we provide. We kicking in the door, watch the whole vibe rise. Stepping with the glow and the healing we provide. Shamako on the move, baby, feel this elevation. Self-care rhythm turning to liberation. Kicking in the door, who it be, who it be. Shamako bringing blessings to your skin, to your peace. From the glow to the flow, watch the magic increase. Healing ain't a hobby, baby, that's a whole life piece.
Body butter and sweet, ooh, baby, that pressure. Smelling like you walk fresh out of love letter. Scrub with the shimmer, stress get lesser. Glow so loud, gotta treat you like treasure. Feel that warm fries that your guard drop low. It's that healing vibe, baby, this your glow.
From uptown to BK, baby, you gon' shine. Twins to the BX, this your sacred time. Let the stress fall back, let your aura climb. Shamako got the glow, you're divine by design. We kicking in the door, watch the whole vibe rise. Shamako on the move, baby, feel the celebrations. We kicking in the door, watch the whole vibe rise. Stepping with the glow and the healing we provide. Shamako on the move, baby, feel this elevation. Self-care rhythm turning to liberation.
Go heavy, be steady. Shamaka, New York ready.
Go heavy,
be steady.
Oh, you can't find this in the store. Not this, baby. This right here. This is customized. You better get like me. 5 reasons to stop suffering in silence. Number 1, you building up stress on the body, and stress has killed and broken some of the best of us. Number 2, you gonna explode or implode, which means you gonna blow up on the people around you, or you gonna blow up from within. Number 3, You passing down trauma you don't even know you got. It's best to heal before you hurt an innocent bystander. Number 4, no one would ever be able to help you. How can they know about it if you don't talk about it? This is how a lot of suicides begin. And number 5, you killing your energy with sitting in your turmoil and your problems. You got to get yourself out that negative environment and put yourself in a positive state of mind. Keep a rich mentality.
Back when your heart needs reminding. D is divine, D is daily, D is love, a daily.